Since ancient times, humanity has gazed at the heavens in search of answers. Questions like, where did we come from and why do we exist, have fueled both philosophical debates and scientific inquiries. Today, in the face of the hypothesis that the universe might be a simulation created by God, we delve into one of the most complex and provocative topics of our time. This idea blends theology, science, and metaphysics into a single, unsettling reflection. What if everything around us, including ourselves, is part of a vast virtual system operated by an all-knowing creator? This hypothesis gained traction with the advancement of science and technology, especially when figures like Nick Bostrom, the philosopher from the University of Oxford, and Elon Musk, the world-renowned entrepreneur, began advocating it publicly. Both argue that if a technological civilization were capable of creating perfect simulations of reality, indistinguishable from the real world, then it is statistically more likely that we are living within a simulation rather than outside of it. The argument is simple and devastating. If in the future there are billions of simulations of worlds, the chance that we exist in a real world would be statistically insignificant. This theory, as modern as it may seem, finds ancient echoes in the pages of the Bible. In the book of Genesis, the beginning of everything is not shaped by hands, but spoken into existence. Let there be light, and there was light. The universe is birthed through spoken commands, as if God were writing lines of code in a fundamental, invisible, and powerful language. There are no hammers, chisels, or tools, only the living, effective, and creative word. A pattern that today is beginning to be understood as the very language of existence. What further strengthens this possibility are the physical laws that govern the cosmos. They do not vary, they do not fail, and they do not yield to chance. Gravity, the speed of light, nuclear forces all function as though they obey fixed commands, regulating everything with absolute precision. The so-called universal constants, like the gravitational constant and Planck's constant, act as unchanging lines of code, defining the limits and permissions of all creation. They did not appear by chance. They are calibrated with such extreme accuracy that even the smallest change would make life impossible. Genesis can therefore be read with new eyes, not as a poetic myth, but as a symbolic description of a deep architecture, an initial programming. And it is at this point where science and faith converge. The source code of the universe, once seen as spiritual, is now being deciphered through telescopes, equations, and particle accelerators. But the question remains, who wrote this code? If you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Now back to the video. The universe operates with such extreme precision that it borders on the impossible. Every particle, every force, every interaction follows a rigid logic that seems more designed than random. In this context, randomness becomes increasingly improbable. The behavior of stars, planetary orbits, chemical reactions, and even human DNA follows rules that not only exist, but repeat with frightening fidelity. This is not chance. This is structure, and structure requires a mind. Science itself, which for so long avoided any metaphysical explanation, confirms the universe had a beginning, a starting point, a moment when time, space, and matter began to exist. Before that, there was nothing. No atoms, no photons, no fields, nothing. And if there was a beginning, the inevitable question is, what existed before the beginning? The answer, as unsettling as it may seem to some, is clear for those familiar with the scriptures. Before time, there was only God. And he not only existed, he was everything, infinite, eternal, completely separate from creation. But this Creator does not build like men. He does not operate with tools, nor depend on circuits, algorithms, or machines. He creates with his own essence. Existence flows from who he is. Life is not merely a byproduct of natural forces, it is the reflection of a conscious will. The perfect laws that sustain the universe, from the behavior of galaxies to the beating of a human heart, reveal more than mathematics. They reveal intention. This intentional design does not point to a programmer as we know them. It is not about someone sitting in front of a machine. It is about the very origin of reality. God did not just create the code, He is the code. He is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all existence. And because of this, when we look at the question that echoes in every human mind, what was there before everything? We are inevitably led to Him. For before time, there was only God, and from Him, everything was born. And when this creation reached its highest point, something extraordinary happened. God created humankind in His image and likeness. This statement, found in the opening chapters of the Bible, is not symbolic. It is a direct declaration of identity. We were not made as autonomous machines or beings, limited to obeying commands. We were shaped to reflect something of the Creator Himself. In any simulated system, characters obey commands, follow routines, and lack free will. But with us, it is different. The Bible reveals that we possess something that no artificial intelligence will ever have: free will. This capacity to choose, to decide between right and wrong, to build paths or destroy them, separates us from any programmed code. A robot can imitate decisions, an algorithm can predict behaviors, but neither questions the purpose of its existence. We do. We feel guilt, we seek redemption, we long for meaning. This is not a system error. It is the evidence that we were not designed just to function, but to live with purpose. Our reality is not merely functional, it is moral. And where there is morality, there is intention. And where there is intention, there is mind. Self-awareness, the unique ability to look within and question ourselves, is a direct clue that we are not products of chance. We are reflections of something infinitely superior. We feel, we think, we choose. The human being does not merely execute commands. He loves, he suffers, he prays, he communicates with the invisible, with the eternal. This is not programming, this is relationship. The universality of moral values across different cultures, such as justice, compassion, and loyalty, reinforces the idea that these principles did not emerge from nothing. They echo a common origin. A creator who did not just create, but revealed himself. A God who communicates, who relates. And it is here that we completely separate ourselves from any AI, because we reflect the image of a conscious, personal, and loving God. Our consciousness is the living proof that something exists beyond the visible, a divine signature within each of us. Now, even science begins to recognize this. Modern physics no longer describes the universe as a solid mass of matter and energy, but as a vast network of information. At its most fundamental level, everything that exists is not made of atoms, but of bits, tiny units of digital information. This is the foundation of reality, not stone, not fire, not flesh, but data, pure information. It's as if the universe is sustained not by things, but by commands, like a giant line of code that continues to run without end. This discovery might seem modern, but it echoes an ancient truth recorded in the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The word word, used in the original Greek, is logos, reason, logic, code. The Logos is not only the creator, he is also the sustainer. He does not just begin reality, he keeps it alive. Just as a digital simulation requires a system running constantly in the background, the universe depends on the Logos to continue existing. If the Logos were to cease, everything would cease to be. And this is exactly what quantum physicists are beginning to understand. What once seemed like a spiritual allegory now fits perfectly into the most advanced scientific models. The quantum field, energy patterns, and particle-wave duality all suggest that the reality we see is merely a layer of a much deeper, invisible, and informational structure. If everything is information, then our existence is not independent. We are part of an active thought, a continuous thought from the mind of God. In this sense, the Logos is God interacting with creation at every moment. He is the platform on which reality runs. He is the source code and at the same time the programmer who sustains it. Nothing escapes his supervision. Nothing exists outside his structure. The universe is not just a creation, it is a continuous expression of the eternal word. A simulation, yes, but not cold, mechanical, or random. It is the living projection of the mind of God. But unlike any simulation created by humans, in this one, the Creator does not remain distant. He does not limit himself to watching coldly, like a programmer observing his system from the outside. In the biblical narrative, God breaks all expected logic. He enters the system, he becomes human, he suffers, he dies. In Jesus Christ we have something that no simulation, however advanced, could ever attempt to replicate. The very author of reality, choosing to live within his creation, experiencing its limitations, pain, and conflicts. This incarnation is more than a symbolic gesture. It is a definitive declaration that this reality has eternal value. Jesus did not come to adjust parameters or observe flaws. He came to redeem, and his sacrifice was not a technical fix like a software patch. It was a complete recreation of the human being, a profound transformation from the inside to the eternal. The Creator did not just enter the code, he allowed himself to be impacted by it. He was wounded by the very laws he established, to offer through his pain a new possibility of existence. This is the greatest proof that the universe is not a cold experiment. It is not a simulation without consequence. It is a field where love manifests in radical ways. In Christ, God does not just observe human suffering, he feels it in his own flesh. He redefines the destiny of creation from the cross. And no other story, no other system, offers something as absurd and glorious at the same time. The Almighty letting go of control, surrendering in weakness, dying at the hands of his own creation. If this reality were just a computational system, it would still be the most real, intense, and meaningful reality ever conceived. Because in it, the Creator does not just seek to keep the system running, he seeks to restore relationships. He offers redemption, not out of obligation, but out of love. No other creator abandons the throne to die for his creation. Only one. And that changes everything. But even this reality, so complex and full of meaning, is not final. The Bible reveals with unsettling clarity that it will come to an end. The apocalypse is not a symbolic tale or a vague prediction. It is the meticulous closure of a cycle. Creation will be judged. The current system, with all its flaws, limitations, and pains, will be deactivated. In its place, something new will emerge. Not a repair, not an update, but a new heaven and a new earth, a new version of existence, without corruption, without death, without suffering. This process can be understood in contemporary language as a divine reboot, a complete restart where the original code will be restored to its perfect intention. A new system will be initiated, not based on trial and error, but established with eternal perfection. Evil will be eradicated irreversibly. There will be no room for shadow or decay. Justice will not merely be declared, it will reign forever. Order will be final. Peace absolute. This eschatological vision reveals something extraordinary. We are not temporary codes nor disposable entities. We are beings destined for eternity. And every detail of the end, every trumpet, every seal, every judgment is part of a much larger plan, traced before the foundation of the world. The destruction of the old is not a tragedy. It is liberation. It is the beginning of something infinitely greater. The apocalypse is not about the end of the world. It is about the birth of a new kingdom, where everything impure will be left behind. The Christian hope has never been in collapse. It has always been in transformation. The promise is not of escape, but of total redemption. Nothing will be wasted. No tear, no pain, no act of faith will be forgotten. And the invitation is extended. We are called to participate in this new world as children, not as spectators, as heirs, not as data. The apocalypse is the final point of the old reality, but more than that, it is the true beginning of eternity. And in light of all this, the most important question is not whether we are or are not in a simulation. The real question is, what is your role in all of this? Because if there is a system, there is also a purpose. And the Christian faith is clear in its answer. We were not created by accident. We were designed with intention, with mission, with an eternal destiny. Every detail of our existence points to a plan that goes beyond what our eyes can see. The simulation, if it exists, is not a prison, but a stage, an environment built to reveal eternal truths and lead every soul to redemption. The Creator, according to the Scriptures, is not absent. He did not just start existence and then step away. He walks with his people. He reveals himself, he speaks, he acts, and more. He invites every human being to know him personally, in spirit and in truth. This is radical. This is transformative. God does not want spectators. He seeks children. He does not demand belief alone. He desires relationship. He is not an unreachable mystery. He is a Father who desires communion. In this context, life takes on a different weight. Our choices matter. Every decision shapes not only the present, but the eternal destiny. Nothing is small in the face of eternity. Nothing is irrelevant when we stand before the infinite. The journey here, limited by time and surrounded by uncertainty, is preparation for an existence without end. And this eternity does not begin after death. It has already begun. Here, now, inside this reality, whether physical or simulated, because where there is purpose, eternity is already in motion. And so there is only one last question, one that echoes forcefully in light of everything that has been said. Will you continue living as a passive spectator, waiting for something to change? Or will you embrace your role in this story? Because the system exists, the Creator is real, and the invitation has been made. The choice is yours.